We start with breaking news tonight. Just into the newsroom, Pine Bluff police say they received a call tonight about a shooting on Avondale Drive. Police found 28-year-old Takira Scott, who had been shot in her car. She was taken to Jefferson Regional, where she died. Police also located a second victim, 25-year-old DeAndre Thomas, unresponsive with a gunshot wound and a gun still in his hand. Officers say that witnesses saw Thomas shoot Scott before turning the gun on himself. The investigation is still ongoing. Also tonight, a detention deputy is behind bars after allegedly trying to smuggle drugs into a prison. 26-year-old Brianna Taylor worked at W.C. Brassel Detention Center. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says that before her shift yesterday, a supervisor found what they suspect is marijuana, synthetic marijuana, and tobacco. She has been booked in the prison for multiple felonies. And a Little Rock police officer arrested for a DUI. Paul Riley was arrested while he was off duty this weekend. Police say he was found passed out in his vehicle. Riley has been placed on administrative leave while the incident is under investigation.
We saw plenty of sunshine on our Sunday. Temperatures warmed up into the low 90s in many areas. Out there now, mostly clear, a dry air mass, so therefore the temperatures are dropping down quickly in some locations. It's 59 in Clinton, still 74 in the capital city, more of the same in Hot Springs, 63 in Arkadelphia, and 67 in Stuttgart. We'll start off our Monday, very comfortable numbers, dropping down into the 50s area-wide. Heat Island of Little Rock will probably drop down to around 60. But after that comfortable start, you may need a light jacket in the early morning. You'll be tossing it to the side because once again, with all that sunshine, dry ground, temperatures are going to race up into the upper 80s to lower 90s for highs all across central Arkansas. The cool numbers, well, 81 Mountain Home, 82 in Harrison. More 90s are in the forecast. I'm searching for any sign of rain. I do have a little bit in my 70 forecast. I'll let you know when coming up.
All right, thanks, Nathan. Now we are expecting more of the same closures that we've been used to in Little Rock this week. But for people in Jacksonville, changes are coming as crews widen 167 to 6 lanes. Within weeks, exit 11A heading northbound on Vandenberg Boulevard will close permanently. And the North James Street Bridge over Highway 67 will shut down for a year in late October. The entire project is about 10% finished. If you're traveling west, however, drive carefully as the average number of reported accidents on I-30 in the Saline County construction zone has more than doubled from 2019 to 2022. If your car has suffered damage from driving this stretch, Dave Parker with RDOT says there are ways to get help.
First, try to reach out to the contractor. If they're not able to reach the contractor for whatever reason, they certainly can reach out to RDOT, ask us, hey, we need legal, and we'll direct you into that, and maybe they can help at least navigate the process a little bit.
If you do have issues reaching the contractor, you can also file a complaint with the Attorney General's office for help. Those phone numbers are on our website right now at thv11.com. 13,000 United Auto workers comprising less than 10% union have been on strike since Friday. The demands a 36% raise, in part to cover cost of living increases and to unwind concessions made during the Great Recession. The counteroffer from Ford, GM, and Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep and Chrysler, are about half of what the union wants. President Biden sent a team to Detroit to help negotiations. The union says talks with Ford on Saturday were productive. Auto workers and companies, of course, not the only ones in major negotiations. For lawmakers, the possibility of a government shutdown is less than 2 weeks away. And Skylar Henry shows us that while some say progress is being made at the negotiating table, others wonder if a deal can be reached in time.
President Biden yet again brushing off House Republicans, launching a formal impeachment inquiry into him, alleging he benefited from his son Hunter's business dealings. The move comes as Speaker Kevin McCarthy is looking to shore up votes to keep the government open, as hardline conservatives say meet their list of demands or embrace a shutdown.
I want to make sure we don't shut down. I don't think that is a win for the American public.
Some of the farthest right members in the House say one of their sticking points: no more funding for Ukraine. The country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is set to travel to D.C. this week.
having him here is going to be very, very persuasive. The last time we had votes on the House floor on the issue of aid for Ukraine, nearly 300 members voted in affirmative out of 435. A majority of the Republicans voted in the affirmative.
As concerns grow over the looming shutdown, voters are uncertain about the economic fallout and their finances. New CBS News polling shows nearly half of registered voters say they're worse off now than before the start of the pandemic, far outpacing those who are better off. Of those who say they are doing worse, voters in large part are backing former President Trump.
Now, that CBS News polling also showed that it was unclear to registered voters whether they could get a full second term from either President Biden or former President Donald Trump, though more than half of those voters think the former president could finish all 4 years. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
A woman's pregnancy journey is a personal, unique experience. However, for Black women, that experience is often plagued by a higher possibility of complications. It's a systemic problem that healthcare professionals here in Arkansas are working to dismantle. But as THV11's Michaela Johnson shows us, advocacy for Black pregnant women is still needed.
Any of my Black moms, 100% of them, their main reason for getting a doula, their number one reason is advocacy.
Alexis Jackson is a certified birth and postpartum doula.
To provide that emotional and physical support. A lot of women are looking for an extra person to help them make it through the journey.
In an expecting mother's corner, she is that extra person, a knowledgeable support system who's also willing to speak up on their behalf.
I'm here as a bridge between the mother and the medical system.
Dr. Gloria Richard Davis says across the board, Black women are more likely to have a negative outcome compared to white women.
We know that Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die in childbirth. And Arkansas, of course, has the same statistics.
For Jackson, that statistic almost became her reality.
I wish I would have had someone there. My pregnancy was fine. It was normal. Everything was going great up until it didn't. One day I woke up and I was like swollen from the waist down. Couldn't see my ankles anymore. It was bad.
Advice from family downplayed this as simply normal pregnancy symptoms. They weren't. That same day, Alexis was rushed to the ER.
I had preeclampsia.
A whirlwind, as she describes it, led to an emergency C-section.
2 o'clock in the morning, the lights come on, nurses rush in. We have to take the baby now. And my son was 6 weeks early.
The problems caused by preeclampsia often go away after a baby is born. But for Alexis, this nightmare continued, getting much worse.
Unfortunately, I was not looked after the way I was supposed to have been. My mom found me on the floor. I ended up having a seizure while she was gone. The nurses didn't know I was there on the floor. I ended up having 3 more seizures before they decided to give me meds.
Unconscious for a week, Alexis woke up in a new hospital, needing 2 more weeks of observation before returning home.
Only to turn around and come back within 24 hours because I ended up with a pulmonary embolism.
Blood clots and half her chest filled with fluids, leading to another 2-week stay in the hospital. She looks back now with a stark realization.
Myself included almost became part of that statistic.
But Dr. Claire Brown with UAMS says that most Black mothers don't have to fall victim to these issues.
Around 90% of maternal mortality is theoretically preventable.
Data from the Arkansas Maternal Mortality Review Committee backs that up. A recent study shows out of Black maternal deaths from 2018 through 2019, 91% of them were preventable. But that same study also reveals how big of a problem this is in Arkansas.
We have a rate of about 40 per 100,000 live births. The rate nationally is closer to 32, so that's around 20% higher rate of maternal mortality. Unfortunately, we're ranked very worse in terms of maternal mortality overall.
These numbers can be hard to reckon with, but some healthcare professionals in Arkansas are working to mend the era of these large disparities for Black women.
As a provider, right, I'm concerned that our healthcare system is failing patients.
It's incredibly important to consider institutionalized racism. It theoretically exists from the provider up through the policy level.
It may take a lifetime of work.
We're working to do that. We are absolutely working to do that.
But respectful, equitable care is the end goal.
A patient, regardless of her race, religion, ethnicity, when she enters our healthcare system, she receives equitable care. She is listened to.
And today, as Jackson bridges the gap as a doula, her traumatic delivery
I do hold on to my personal experience.
is a guiding light for the pregnant women she now helps.
I'm going to be that person for you because everybody's going home. At the end of the day, everybody is going home.
In Little Rock, Michaelan Johnson, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Michaelan. Such an important story. And there are some policy changes that are hot topics in the state right now, including advocates pushing for a Medicaid extension. This change would allow Medicaid coverage for women a full year postpartum. Right now, it's only 60 days. Thousands of people walked down Main Street in Little Rock today for the annual Food Truck Festival. After the break, we're going to show you what this event means to the community. Nathan?
And if you were at that festival, it was hot on that concrete, all those people. Temperatures are going to be above average for the next several days. I do have a small chance of rain. I'll let you know which day it has the best chance coming up.